Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining me from in this live lecture. Good morning, good afternoon. Coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Eke Market Day in the 12th month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Ede Ajana. As you can see, the European people, the European culture, in the Gregorian calendar are celebrating New Year today, the one they call 1st January 2025. So today's date in the Gregorian Roman Catholic calendar is 1st January 2025, and they call it New Year Day. But in the lunar calendar, in the Igbo lunar calendar, today's date is Eke Market Day in the 12th month of the year. We are still in the 12th month in the Igbo calendar, and it is called Onwa Ede Ajana. There's no December in Igbo December. There's no January in Igbo December. What in Igbo lunar calendar, what we have is we are in the 12th month at this time, and it is called Onwa Ede Ajana. How sweet it is if somebody is asking you what is the today's month, and you say it is Onwa Ede Ajana. That means giving you your own identity. And you know, Nkolo Mahadum is partly set up to decolonize Africa. Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University is set up to decolonize, that is, remove the European concept, remove the European way of life from our lives, so we can go back to our roots, go back to what our fathers kept for us, because that is our identity. That is who we are. That is what we have to place in front. And then the Western foreign colonial calendar can come second if we want. Also remember, at Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University, we encourage you to always use your naturally given sense to evaluate all the issues coming to you every day in order to make the right decision. And we have also maintained that if other countries are using their schools, churches, media houses to their benefit, to present information as to how it will benefit them, the same way Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University will also package lectures and present them to you from Biafran and African perspective. That is how an African is supposed to be seeing things. You see things from the lens of an African, how it is affecting you, or how you are benefiting or losing from that situation. And today we are about to lecture, a very important lecture in terms of maintaining whom we are. And the title of today's lecture is Igbo language should be first in all situations, wherever we stay. Igbo language should be first in everything we do, wherever we stay. Therefore, the idea of disciplining any child in the school or preventing our people from speaking Igbo language anywhere should stop as from today. Before we delve into the lecture, we have to remind you that the Igbo language began when life on earth started, because the Igbo people who have this language are one of the oldest races in the world. The Igbo race and the Igbo language is one of the oldest in the world. But some Western archaeologists and climatologists are guessing, they're just guessing that the Igbo language started from 19,000 to between 6,500 BCE. That's just a guess. And they classified the Igbo language as follows, that it fell into the Niger-Congo branch of languages, which included Atlantic Congo, Volta Congo, Volta Niger, Igboid, the one they call Igboid, Igboid, Nuclear Igbo, and then Igbo language. That was how the Westerners classified Igbo language. And Igbo language is written in different forms. There's the one they call Latin, which is called Onwu alphabet. Another one is called Nwagu Aneke script. The next one is called Neo-Insibidi. The fourth one is called Ndebe script. The fifth one is called Igbo Braille. And then the fourth one is called Akago script. That is how the Europeans classify how we write Igbo language. On which areas of the world are Igbo language being spoken? It is mainly being spoken in today's eastern region of Nigeria, Cameroon, and Equatorial Guinea. So it's spoken in 3 different countries as classified by the artificial boundaries created by the Western Europeans. So it is spoken in eastern Nigeria, Cameroon, and Equatorial Guinea. In Kolomahan, we want you to know that the Igbo language is your identity. Igbo language is whom we are. Just like you hear the American leaders and the American people speak English. They are speaking English because English is their own language. We have oftentimes seen the Russian leaders and Russian people speaking Russian. They are speaking Russian. They are not speaking Igbo language. We also seen the Chinese speaking Chinese language. Even in India, India have 22 official languages. But the Hindi is spoken by 40 to 41% of Indians. And most Arab countries speak Arabic. None of them speak Igbo. And therefore, we should maintain Igbo language as the first language wherever we are, whether in the eastern region of Nigeria, whether in Cameroon, or in Equatorial Guinea, or whether you live in Lagos, whether you live in Abuja, wherever you live outside Igbo land, whether you live in the United States, whether you live in Canada, whether you live in United Kingdom, or Europe, or Australia, or Russia, or in any Arab country, you have to make Igbo language your first language. And Kolomhad is therefore protesting and asking that the issue of disciplining, flogging, sanctioning our children or any adult that speak Igbo in our land or anywhere should stop from today. And we are also making these recommendations that outside Igbo land, people should come together and establish TV station where Igbo will be spoken so that your children can learn Igbo from that TV station. Also, Every family should make sure they are speaking Igbo in their houses. Train your children with Igbo language, because that is the right thing to do. Also, Nollywood should act different children movies where Igbo language will be used in those movies, so that our people outside in Igbo land can always play those movies, those Igbo movies with Igbo languages to their children. The next recommendation is to partner with satellite companies so that they can carry those movies up the space, so that many TV stations can be able to be playing those Nollywood movies, children movies, to help the children to learn how to speak Igbo from the beginning when they are small. And finally, all the books being used in Igbo land, in the eastern region of Nigeria, in Cameroon, part of Igbo, and Equatorial Guinea should be translated to Igbo, including all the books we use in the schools. These are very, 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 very important. And so, before we continue, we have to ask you to please to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Invite your friends to this lecture. And if you miss any of our lecture, go back to all other lectures that we have delivered to you to listen to them, because they are all meant for you. Like our lectures, comment and share it to everybody. Share it to your children, to your friends and well-wishers, and to all those who care. If you are on different platforms, share it in those platforms, because these are the things we must have to do to prevent Igbo language from going to extinction. Some people have been projecting that Igbo language will go into extinction. Why should we go into extinction if we believe that every human being is created equal? If we believe that the Igbos are one of the smartest people on earth, we have to preserve our language and stand toe-to-toe with other cultures. Just like many times you hear the American president speaking English, you hear the Russian president speaking Russian, you hear the Chinese leader speaking Chinese. That is the way it should be. When our people are speaking, we speak in Igbo language and not English. And don't crucify me that we are presenting lectures in English language from this university. It's just for many other people to hear it. But from time to time, we shall also be presenting lectures in Igbo language, because that is our language. And so the takeaway from today's lecture is that Igbo language should be the first in all situations, everywhere we stay, whether in Igbo land, whether in Eastern region, whether in Cameroon, or Equatorial Guinea, or Abuja, or Lagos, or Kano, or United States, or Canada, or Australia, or United Kingdom, or Europe, wherever we live around the world, Igbo language should be the first. And we have said that Igbo language and Igbo people are the first people on this planet Earth. And some Western archaeologists and climatologists, they are guessing that Igbo language started 19,000 to 6,500 BCE. They're just guessing, because Igbo language had been existing. Remember, the writing from the Europeans just started, many years ago. But before then, humans had been living on this earth. And Igbo language is classified belonging to the family of the Niger Congo, which included Atlantic Congo, Volta Congo, Volta Niger, Igboid, Nuclear Igbo, and the Igbo language. And the Igbo language is written in different forms. Onwu alphabet, Nwagu and Eke script, Neo Insibidi, Ndebe scripts, Igbo Braille, and Akago scripts. And the area Igbo language is spoken today includes Eastern Nigeria, Cameroon, and Equatorial Guinea. Igbo language is your identity. We can never let it go. We can never let it go into extinction. And all hands must be on deck, because the Americans, they speak their English, the Russians speak Russia, the Chinese speak Chinese, the Indians have 22 official languages, but mainly speaking Hindi. And the Arabs speak Arabic. So why can't we be speaking Igbo so that we can show that we are equal with other races? And therefore, Igbo language should be made compulsory in all schools in Eastern region of Nigeria, in Equatorial Guinea and Cameroon. And also, no flogging or disciplining or sanctioning of any student or any adult in any gathering for speaking Igbo. In addition, those who live outside Igbo land should put their resources together to establish radio and TV stations where Igbo programs will be aired for their children and everybody. And then Nollywood should wake up and produce different children movies, they use Igbo language in those movies, in which Igbo language is used in those movies for the children, because it's better we catch them young to start very early to speak Igbo, and then partner with satellite companies to air Igbo movies, Igbo children movies in the existing TV stations and radio stations, so that Igbo children can continue to learn Igbo language as earlier as possible. And finally, we have to translate all the books into Igbo language. This we must do to make sure that Igbo language does not go into extinction. If we allow it to go into extinction, it means that we are not as equal as other races. That also means that what we are claiming that we are smart, that we are this, it also shows that that is not true. But if we can come together and make sure that Igbo language is translated in all the books, that Igbo language is spoken everywhere in our land, the first language are being proposed by Kolomohal Wisdom University, and making sure that our leaders speak Igbo language to our people. You hear the interview granted to the Niger president. He spoke in Hausa language to get the Hausa people of Nigeria, because all of them speak Hausa. So we have to make Igbo language the first language for our people. And with this, we shall be bringing to this lecture. So, thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great day. Bye-bye.